aware of your enemy, recognizing your enemy. Who is your enemy? What is your enemy? Do people have enemies? This is a very important topic because in order to thrive in this world, in order to succeed, we need to know who our enemy is. And every single one of us has an enemy. An enemy who tries to ruin us, ruin our lives, ruin where we come from, ruin where we're going. And it is important to tackle the enemy in order to know who they are, in order to know how to keep our distance, in order to know how to control the enemy, how to be able to maneuver around the enemy. And so we may have questions. What is the enemy? The enemy is inside each and every one of us. It's called the Yetzer Hara. It is called the evil inclination. And every single one of us have this evil angel, Yetzer Hara, who is custom designed to ruin us, destroy us, and enable us not to succeed and simply just fail in life. So who is that enemy? That is the angel. And my angel is different than your angel, right? Each and every one of us have this angel in order to destroy who we want to be, destroy who we want to become, and simply destroy our aspirations for the future. So we have to recognize what that enemy is. What does it look like? And I want to share with you 2 ideas on how it tackles us and 3 tactics of the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination. How do we succeed in life is to know not only where we're going and where we're coming from. However, we also must tackle our challenges and what keeps us from moving on and from succeeding in life. And each and every one of us have those challenges. And we remember what we said in the past. Challenges are life. We need challenges to truly live in this world. And we learn that the Yetzer Hara has 2 important tactics. One of the tactics is it attacks our intellect not to believe in Hashem, not to believe in God. It attacks it. This is what it does. It makes us ask questions. Why is this happening to me? We start doubting Hashem and seeing how things just don't make sense. We lack emunah, which is true faith in Hashem. We say, Hashem, how could you let this happen? They are such good people. How can you let this happen? I won't pray today because this is just too much. It doesn't make sense. Why should I pray to Hashem, the Hashem that gave this painful experience in my life? I can't believe this happened. And we don't feel like clinging to Hashem, unfortunately, when many times when we experience pain and suffering in our lives. But we have to remember the same Hashem that gave us happiness, gave us these challenges, these painful experiences, suffering, and maybe initially it's just like, whoa, it feels like a blow, like, whoa, why is this happening to me? But it is important that the person doesn't stay in that phase of depression, of sadness, of negativity. But it's important for us to feel that negativity, but now what do I do with it? That's the most important part. Right? Hashem gave us emotions. He doesn't want us to shut ourselves down. Many people feel that mistakenly that I'm supposed to be happy all the time. That is not true. True happiness is an inner serenity. That is true happiness. Knowing I'm doing the right thing. Knowing I am fulfilling my mission. Doing my purpose. Fulfilling my mission in this world. That is fulfillment. That is true happiness. Happiness is not putting a constant smile on your face while everything goes just smooth and dandy and peaches and cream and everything is going your way. That's not happiness. Happiness is an inner serenity. That I know I'm fulfilling my purpose, I'm doing the will of Hashem, doing the will of God. That is true happiness, despite my circumstances. So we are trained in a secular worldview that happiness is only when you get something, when you feel a certain way, when somebody does something for you, when you're looking forward to this amazing event. That is not happiness. Those are all temporary. And unfortunately, we have become a world where we're constantly seeking that new phone, that vacation, that dress, which is going to be old in a week, or the remodeling of the house. No matter how much we remodel, we want to remodel more. So true happiness is an inner calm, a serenity that despite my circumstances, I'm doing the will of Hashem no matter what. That is true happiness. That's a happiness that lasts. It lasts 20, 30 years. It lasts a lifetime. So the first tactic of the Yetzer Hara is it makes us doubt Hashem. How could this happen, right? We're constantly questioning, lacking emunah. The second tactic of the Yetzer Hara is it is trying to have us believe things that are not true, right? Believing untruths. For example, when Yaakov fought the angel of Esav, Yaakov asked, "What is your name?" And the angel replied, "Why are you asking my name?" What is the reason for that? And the reason for that is the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, does not exist unless we give it permission to exist, right? Unless we believe in it, unless we believe the false ideas and the thoughts. It does not have an essence. Yaakov wanted to tell his children by referring to this that the essence, that the true essence of the Yetzer Hara is really whatever you believe it to be, right? If a person believes that they are a certain quality, whether they are incapable, they're going to believe in life that they were always incapable. And unfortunately, sometimes we grow up with parents who make us feel like we're incapable, and then the child grows up to an adult and believes that they're just incapable because they've been validated as from parenting that they were incapable, right? And also they believe they're incapable by failures, by mistakes. I just can't. Remember, failures and mistakes are opportunities for growth. Failure is not going down. Failure is staying down, right? Now the Yetzer Hara has no essence. It is whatever one creates it to be. Yaakov put godliness into everything that he did. And he recognized the Yetzer Hara. He recognized that this isn't truth. This is falsehood. Life is never just stuff or business. Anything in front of our nose is potential for greatness, is potential for holiness, potential for making things meaningful, no matter what we do. There's a beautiful quote that a great person isn't great because they're great. A great person does simple things in a great way. The way they say hello, the way they interact with others, the way they are involved in an act of kindness, even if it's simple. They are involved in it. They pay attention to it. They care for others. They're sensitive to others. So that is a great person. And a person may remember a simple act of someone that someone called them for exactly no reason, right? And it means so much to them. Thank you so much. You thought about me. It could take just a few seconds. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't take much time. But it's a simple act done in a great way. And that is greatness. So we have to know that life, it's not just, okay, the most important parts are how I raise my kids, the fact that I make money at work, the fact that I provide for my family, the fact that I try to be healthy. That's the major stuff a person may think. And the little things is everything else. The truth is most of life is little things, right? You can plan your child's wedding and you can wait 20 years, 25 years to plan for that wedding, meaning you're waiting for it, you're praying for it, you're raising your child for a 3-hour party. Now, you can tell, oh, well, 25 years was nothing. The most important part was the three hours. No, every single minute I was involved in raising that child is everything. It's meaningful. I'm putting my heart and soul into it. The 3-hour party, it's gonna come and go, but the fact that the child became the person they became is a mitzvah, is our privilege, is our opportunity to invest in goodness, invest in the right thing, invest in creating them to live purposeful lives. We are involved. So every single part of it is meaningful. And most of life is these trivialities, little things, preparing, doing, planning, going. we have to know that's not just stuff. Everything in life is important. Every second, every minute. And yes, a person may think, wow, it's just I have to be so heavily invested in thinking and in doing and being positive and really trying to be productive. Yes, that's true. It involves a lot of effort. But the truth is, habits create a person's nature. The more you do something, the more it becomes a part of you. You are what you practice. If you practice positivity, you practice productivity, you will be positive, you will be productive. You will watch what you say, you will watch what you do, you will watch the way you act. And that is because you are practicing it. And it becomes a part of you. It is very easy to sink into being worried. Most people are constantly worried for things that will probably never happen. So if I'm busy worrying, I might as well be busy being positive. That's really the truth. So we have to remember that the Yetzer Hara tries to attack our emunah, our faith, by questioning Hashem, and as well as making him believe in him, this essence. We don't want to believe in the Yetzer Hara. We don't want to question Hashem. We don't want to ask questions. When things happen our way, the Jewish thing to do is not to ask questions. We don't ask why things happen. We ask, what can I do now? We know when our phone breaks and it doesn't work anymore, we don't say why this happened. Yes, maybe we kind of find out, we kind of make sense that it fell in water or we dropped it. But there's so much going on in that phone that we will probably never understand. We just take it, we hand it over to a professional, and we say, what can I do? He'll probably tell you, get a new phone, get it fixed, this is how much it's going to cost. The solution. And you're asking, what can I do? The same thing with Hashem. We ask, what can I do? You gave me this issue in my life. You gave me this challenge. What can I do? I'm not going to ask questions. Why? Because I'll never understand. We live in this world. We only see a piece of the puzzle. And when we get to the next world, it will all make sense. So we don't want to question Hashem. That is a tactic of the Yetzer Hara. Once we get into a mode of questioning and doubting and falling into depression, negativity, that is when the Yetzer Hara is having a field day. And it's like, you know what? I don't even have to get off the couch. She's depressed. She's sad. I got her. We don't want to be that person. When you know how your enemy rolls, right? You know how to roll with the punches. You know how to attack them back. You know how to recognize them. And you know how to bypass them and control them. So regarding the Yetzer Hara makes you doubt and ask questions. And there's a beautiful quote. In this world, there are no answers. In the next world, there are no questions. Everything is going to be answered for you. So the three tactics of the Yetzer Hara we want to be really mindful of is that it makes you ask questions, makes you doubt. The second one is doesn't have an essence, and there's one more. And the one more is that it makes you not ask questions and simply just follow the herd. Meaning you just follow everybody else and you wonder hey, listen, they're such good people and they're doing this and they're going there and they look like this, but they're so close to Hashem. They do so much mitzvot, they give so much tzedakah. Why not? And the reason for that is we don't want to be followers. We want to be leaders, right? We all should have people who we look up to, right? So we want to be those leaders. We don't want to be followers. We want to be able to ask questions, the right question. What is the next best step? What do I need to do? But we don't ask why, right? We don't ask why things happen to us because we will just not understand. We don't understand, and we never will. So the Yetzer Hara does not like it when you ask questions, like questions regarding why you are here. But if I know my purpose, if I'm constantly anchored in knowing my purpose, then all the falsehood is actually going to dissipate in my brain. So I want to leave you with a few practical ideas and affirmations. We have to know that the only true happiness in life is nurturing my neshama to be close to Hashem. That is true happiness. As we said, that is true serenity. Knowing the will of Hashem, knowing that I am doing the best I can with my circumstances is really nurturing my neshama. And that is true happiness. The second idea is I shouldn't be influenced by the externals of this world. The Yetzer Hara is constantly trying to pull us. Go there, do this, invest in this. And maybe some ideas are good decisions. But when we think with clarity and not comparing ourselves to others, not trying to be like everybody else, but saying, is this really good for me? Is this good for my neshama? We live in an influx of materialism, and it's very hard for most people. This is the galut that we live in, the exile that we live in. We're just in flux with materialism, and it's a challenge that we have. It's not our fault. It's a generation that we live in. Every generation has a different challenge, and other generations can't succeed in the generations that we live in. Our generation is given certain challenges that we can overcome. So it is a generation of an influx of materialism, and we see it, we want it, we have to know how to recognize it, and to really ask ourselves, do I really need it, or is it because I really want it, or is it because I want it because I'm comparing myself to others? So we have to be able to recognize that. I should learn from falsehood, the enthusiasm I should feel and experience to conquer truth. The Yetzer Hara is so enthusiastic every single minute, every single morning, from the beginning of the day, trying to put us down, right? We wake up, we don't feel well. There we go. I'm going to have a blonde day, I don't feel well, right? And it's constantly getting to us. And sometimes it is a quick pajama day, right? It's a day when you take care of yourself. But if it's happening on a daily basis, then the Yetzer Hara is having a field day. It's really trying to get us not to believe in ourselves, not to try, not to conquer our day. So we should recognize the Yetzer Hara. And the Yetzer Hara has that enthusiasm, so we should learn from the Yetzer Hara. A wise person learns from everyone, even the people or the influences who are not so good, like the Yetzer Hara. But we learn from them the tactics of the Yetzer Hara. There's a person who's involved in security, and they told me that in order for us to get trained appropriately, they had to think like a criminal. Where would this criminal hide these weapons if they were to attack, right? If they were trying to invade a place. And in order for you to attack your enemy, you need to think like your enemy sometimes, and to really tackle them, to recognize them, to become aware of them. We know that this is very important because when we are tackling truths, we want to be able to understand that there's only one truth. So if I'm anchored in my identity, I choose to be anchored in my identity to know my purpose. If I know who I am, I know my purpose. An example is if a person has allergies, the person knows that they can't have nuts, or they can't have milk, or they're allergic to peanut butter. So there's no way you're going to compromise them to say, maybe just a little bit you can have. No, I'm going to have a tremendous reaction if I have even a little bit. So the person knows who they are. They know what they're allergic to. This is like in a physical sense, right? But if we know who we are on a neshama level, right, in a spiritual level, that we know the truth. We know how much we can attain it by just simply trying. A person discovers themselves by simply being more and trying and overcoming. So we don't really know how great we can become. We can only discover it layers within layers within layers as we try to live life and overcome challenges. That is really the way. We know that falsehood hates truth, right? Falsehood hates truth. And they simply cannot coexist. You can't tell someone, just have a little bit of poison. It won't really affect you. Or just have it's just a little bit of a lie. It's not really a complete lie, but it's a little bit. A lie is a lie. If it's not the complete truth, it has a smidgen of lie. It's not real. It's not the truth. So falsehood and truth cannot coexist together. So if you know who you are, you know where you're going, and you know your purpose, it's easy to be able to understand what is falsehood and what is truth. And there are many who may believe that I need to know all types of falsehood to recognize the truth, to be able to compare and contrast. No. If you have one truth, everything else seems false. Everything else is false because it just is. Falsehood and truth cannot coexist together. If you know who you are, and if you know that you're capable of so many great things, and somebody, God forbid, calls you dumb, you're going to know like this person is just compromised. They're just saying things because they're just upset or they want to take their anger out on you. So you just let it go because you know your truth, you know who you are. So in this sense, we can remind ourselves what is truth and what is falsehood. And one last idea is you cannot be heavily invested in spirituality and physicality and materialism. You cannot. They cannot coexist together. You can't say, oh, I'm gonna be a little bit balanced, a little bit this. It's either I'm heavily invested in one or the other, right? You can't have 50-50. One has to be more. So if I'm not heavily invested in spirituality, I will be heavily invested in materialism. How much I have, how do I look like, right? Where do I go? And renovating, decorating, buying, and it's hard, but we all have our challenges. How much do we own our possessions? But if I'm heavily invested in my spirituality and focusing on who I want to become, who do I want to be, how much do I want to accomplish with my neshama, then my brain cells will occupy that growth. I will want to monitor that growth. I will want to invest in it. And there will be less focus on materialism. So you can't be heavily invested in both. We want to be able to choose to be invested in the truth. And that is when you know the truth, when you know who you are, you won't let the Yetzer Hara, which is your true enemy, tackle you. You'll be able to recognize it, and you'll be able to say, you know what? I'm better than that. I'm more than that. I can be more, and I am more. Appreciating the insights of Rebbetzin Esther Schwartz. And I want to thank you all for listening. Thank you all for your encouragement in continuing these videos. And I hope they can be encouraging in not just encouraging us to be more this week, but hopefully these ideas will tackle and stay with us for longer than that, and be able to really define us and create us, our actions and our thoughts and our words. Remember, the more we do, the more we become, right? You are what you practice. So hopefully these ideas are helpful. Appreciating the insights of Rebbetzin Esther Schwartz, Leah Abramov, being and becoming, awakening awareness of your greatness and potential.